Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, National Weather Watch, April 2nd edition, taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery. We've got a couple things going on, including a big trough carving out over the western portion of the USA. We've got some severe weather chances today and especially on in through Tuesday. We'll take a look at some of those details coming up here in a moment. First, I wanted to show you guys this. I get so many questions about what kind of weather station to buy. If you want an affordable option that's very accurate, lightning detection center, it's got an ultrasonic anemometer, it's got a haptic rain gauge, UV, solar, it's all solar powered, and it's totally wireless. The app is really great. It stores all the data for you there. So if you want that, it's in the link below. Make sure you put that West Coast weather into the checkout code so you get that 10% off. So jumping into things here, we're going to start in California, looking at the NAM 3KM. We've got another round of snowfall coming here as we go on in through the day today into Monday morning. You can see that snowfall continuing for some of the higher terrain. It's going to add on to that record snowfall total there across the state of California. Lots of water stored up across the mountains here. We'll also take a look here in a second. It looks like things are going to warm up as we go towards the end of this upcoming week, towards next weekend, which could mean some more rapid melting of this snowpack across the higher terrain. This is looking at 80-meter wind speed. Got a pretty strong trough digging down across the west here, so you can see the winds really pick up. Watch as we go on into Monday morning here. You can see these strong winds coming down. Going to be a pretty good pressure gradient as this trough digs down across the western portions of the USA, which in turn will spawn some severe weather off to the east, which we'll look at here in a moment. But you can see these strong winds driving down across the state of California as we go on in through Monday night before they finally start to relax as we go on in through Tuesday. Now looking at, this is somewhere up towards, actually this is mean sea level pressure first. Let's do the temperatures next. So we're looking at this trough dig out here, and you can see the strong pressure gradient. That's what's causing these winds of the northwest variety here. As you dig down across the western portion of the USA, you get this nice strong pressure gradient. So that's what's going to drive those winds on in through tomorrow and finally relaxing by Tuesday. Now we're taking a look up towards 850 millibars, 5,000 feet temperature anomaly and wind speeds streamlined. You can see we're going to be pretty chilly with that trough digging down across the area here. For California, staying cool, but as we go through the extended forecast, here we're now into Friday afternoon, you can see things are starting to warm up here, and this is not what we want to see. We don't want to see a rapid warm up here with all that water across the higher terrain. There's already flooding issues because of it. This is just going to exacerbate it here, but we do have this potential for the warm up coming as we go on in through next weekend on into the following week. This is that 8 to 14 day hazard outlook. I showed this yesterday. This hatched here is for flooding potential. And this is not because of precipitation, folks. This is because of that rapid snowmelt that could occur during that time frame. Now, this is looking at a wider view of things here, up towards 18,000 feet, 500 millibars, just kind of a visual diagram of what's going on above us. You can see this little feature here. It's going to spawn some of the severe weather down here that we're going to go over here across some of northern Texas, north central Texas there. But then look at this trough carved down across the western portions of the USA. And this is what's going to cause a deep low pressure center here. It's going to spawn severe weather out in front of it. Some winter conditions here behind it. Winter storm warnings are probably going to come into effect here over the next day or so. So even some blizzard conditions possible. Strong winds and developing snow across some of the Dakotas and northern Minnesota here all the way down into Nebraska, but you can kind of see that warm air out in front of this system here, and so it's going to spawn some severe weather in a very similar location to the last one we had back on Friday. Taking a look at the convective outlook, you can see just general thunderstorm risk across the northwest, but you've got this enhanced across a lot of Texas here, and this is due to a tornado threat. You can see the hatched there for possible strong tornadoes here down across the region. So anytime you see that hatch, that's for EF2 or higher. The brown means a 5% chance within any 25-mile radius of a tornado, and the green is there is a 2% chance. This is for hail. We have the chance for some big hail, 2+ inches in diameter in the hatched region there. And this is for wind gusts over 74 miles per hour, possible here in the hatched region as well. Now we're looking at the European. This is a wider view of things. There's Alaska, Washington, Texas, Florida here. So we're looking at North America, and you can see the trough across the west coast here. There goes the severe weather as we go through today across northern Texas. Then we start to really dig that trough. We develop this low pressure center, as you can see, coming out over Kansas here with the cold air wrapping around behind it. This is going to spawn that severe weather across a lot of the area here. You can see these storms possibly through eastern Oklahoma, up through Missouri, even Iowa again as we go through Tuesday afternoon with some very cold air behind that system. When we continue out, you can kind of see this front just kind of hanging back and dragging across the area. There's some excessive rainfall outlooks because of that stalling frontal system there as we go on into this week. Another system moving into the Pacific Northwest here, stronger system maybe up into southeast Alaska here as well. And then we may start to bring some ridging across western portions of the USA, which would include that warm up for California there. So we'll see how that trends over the next couple of days here. This is looking at the European. This is last night's run up towards 18,000 feet. You see this trough carving out, but first you see that little impulse moving through northern Texas there. So it's going to spawn the severe weather today, and then this trough digs out over the west coast here, and that's what's going to bring Tuesday's severe threat across the region here, with the much colder air behind it across the Dakotas, bringing that winter storm for them. And you can see this kind of kick off across up into Canada here as we go on into Wednesday afternoon with more systems headed to the Pacific Northwest. Now here we get to take a look at the European last night. This is dew point temperature, and you can see the pretty rapid moisture return as we go through the day today. That's why north central Texas has that severe risk. You don't get those really nasty severe storms without that deep, rich moisture. And then you can see the dry line setting up here somewhere across western Texas. So as this goes on in through tomorrow morning, we still have some moisture in place here, but look at these very dry dew points out here. So there can be some fire danger as well. We'll take a look at what the National Weather Service has to say about that here in a moment also. But you can see by the time we're into Monday night on into Tuesday morning now, you can see some very rich moisture in place here all the way up through Missouri. That's going to continue its trek northward here as this warm front advances. And this deep low pressure system here will be about spawning some thunderstorms here as we go on into the afternoon and evening hours. And look at that very sharp dry line here, very dry air, gusty winds with that fire danger behind the dry line there. So here we go. This is surface-based CAPE. Taking a look, you can see that instability building during the day today, and then those storms develop. And as we go on in through Monday, check it out. You see that instability riding northward. That mid-latitude cyclone here developing, bringing a lot of instability up across Missouri by the time we get into Tuesday here. I mean, look, some of these CAPE values up over 3,000 here by the time we get on into Tuesday afternoon. So it's going to be similar areas this last Friday here as well. And it kind of the same thing where you got the dual mode threat here. You got probably going to get some moderate risk here and maybe some moderate risk a little bit further south as well. They got two areas highlighted that we'll look at here in a moment. This is looking at the 500 millibar wind speeds. You can see that little perpetration moving through today, and then watch this trough just carve out here. Just kind of a classic look to this big trough here over the west coast. This is going to spawn that severe weather as we go through Tuesday. This is the day 3 outlook, and you can kind of see that. If you remember Friday, we had kind of the dual modes here where we had the high risk here and the high risk further south down across Arkansas. Pretty similar looking setup here rolling up on us as we go through Tuesday. This would be for Wednesday here out a little bit further to the east or across some portions of Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, maybe some of the Great Lakes here as well. This is looking at 2-meter dew point, the NAM 12KM. So we're going to look at this one as well, and we're just going to kind of play this out a little bit more. And you can see as this cyclone moves through on Tuesday, this is actually yesterday afternoon. So let me update this. It doesn't make much sense. I wanted to show the progression of this as this low pressure system moves through. So here we go Tuesday. Severe storms likely underway here, and you can kind of see this Pacific front surge onto the east here. And that's what's going to bring that severe threat a little bit further off to the east on the next day, Wednesday here. But look at this very dry air back across New Mexico and western Texas here for that fire danger as we go on in through Wednesday. Now we're looking at the Storm Prediction Center. This is for day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and you can kind of see this fire danger surge eastward with the advance of that dry line as we go through Tuesday. This is current hazards, and they already have winter storm watches up for this system as it's going to bring some nice snowfall with it, severe weather out in front of it there. All these wind advisories, high wind watches, warnings are because of this trough digging out over the west. Now here we're looking at the European. I want to look at that winter storm here for a minute. This is yesterday nighttime run here, and you can kind of see that low pressure center there and this snow wrapping back around that low pressure center here. Severe weather, warmer air out in front of that low pressure center, and then you can see that kind of moving up on in through Minnesota. There is a period of freezing rain possibly with this as well as we go on in through very early Wednesday morning. This is looking at total snow possible with that event here coming up, and you can see that swath of snow as it moves across the Dakotas, possibly impacting Nebraska as well through northern Minnesota. So here we are looking at 100-meter wind speed. I want to show you that mid-latitude cyclone here. You can clearly see it develop, bringing that warm air out in front, cold air, north winds back behind it here. Blizzard conditions are probably going to be possible with this storm as well. Now this is looking at the excessive rainfall outlook. This will be for that severe weather going on today as it tracks eastward overnight. And then day 2 would be here. Day 3, that severe storms start to impact the region here. Day 4, that front stalls and kind of hangs back across portions of Louisiana all the way back to eastern Texas here. And day 5, so we've got some potential for this front to stall across the area there. But anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. I'm just trying to get trying to get things going here and trying to experiment with doing a national look at things here and trying to include California when it stays active as well. I don't know if I'll do 2 or 3 videos a day. We'll see how it goes. It's always a new thing trying to cover different portions of the country and whatnot. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. I'm going to keep, practicing and trying to hone my skills as far as covering the rest of the USA. I'll just try to do kind of a more of a broad overview like I did today for the most part. And I'll probably start doing some storm chasing here. I'm off basically from mid-April to mid-June, and I'll probably be out in the plains a lot. I'll bring equipment with me so I can do daily briefings as I'm out across the plains here, chasing on in through the summertime. And yeah, so that's the update here. And if you guys want a weather station here, check that link below. Again, that station, I highly recommend it. It's doing quite well. I'm comparing it to some of my professional weather data here. It's really handling itself quite well. The temperatures are very accurate. The pressure is very accurate. I'm very impressed with the lightning detection system there as well. We had some around the Puget Sound here yesterday, and it really picked up those strikes quite well. So I was impressed by it. The wind speed seems to be very accurate also. So check out that link below if you like. But anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow. And yeah, well, I'll talk to you guys then.